Hi, and welcome to another episode of Kuntarkis. My name is Michael Yon, and this has an adventure with Mr. Elon Musk, which is in the first third of this recording, and this is a recording we did sitting down at Skype.
Yeah.
While we're catching up before we... Oh, is it your son?
Yeah, you hear him, did you?
Almost, just a bit.
Yeah, he's in his room. He does that, the cheeky bugger.
That's
Mate,
cool.
please don't call out JC. Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
I was just
I've
going to
got my
say...
favourite ginger tea, mate. It's absolutely beautiful.
Nice. Ginger tea.
Mm.
Since this...
I'm going to ask you a question,
Mm.
but I won't ask you. Oh, actually, I could ask you the question first because I'm curious, and I'm just going to follow through. Do you want me to follow through with an experience that I had last night, which is an ultimate experience?
Yes.
I mean, ultimate, really ultimate.
Okay.
I was really overwhelmed with it. At the same time, I was very peaceful. But I'm going to ask you a question and think about this for a moment. Michael, what reality do you believe you live in?
Oh, I don't know. I think I believe in a bit of a false third dimensional reality that is taken up too much by just the normal human stuff.
Okay. Okay. That's an interesting answer. And as it was an interesting question, was it not? Yeah. And what you just said is pretty well true because we've become, as humans, over a very, very long period of evolution, very dumbed out and very brainwashed. And the reason I say brainwashed, which is a reality, is because of the genetic transfer from generation to generation through all the wheels of life. And we are so highly conditioned that that is exactly what we expect and what we create as our own delusion of existence. And when I explain to you what happened to me last night, I think it'll get you thinking. If not, it'll get a lot of people thinking if you put this up. All right? Last night, I went to bed about 10 past 10 because what I did last night was something very interesting. After my darling went to bed, she was very tired. I came in here to my office, and what I wanted to do, I just finished editing the new introduction following the trail for the new book called Entanglement, The Long Journey Home. I found it. I found it was just hidden, and it was the original introduction for entrapment. But I never woke up to it. It just seemed to have disappeared. And the other one that I wrote, which I like, which is in entrapment, it wasn't the one I wanted, but I forgot about it. And that's what went into the first entrapment. But I edited the new one, and last night I actually transferred the old one off, got rid of it in entanglement, and I put the new one in, and it all worked perfectly. So I'm really, really happy about that. When I went to bed, I laid in bed and I did a healing on my darling, and I went off into a sleep. And what I saw was myself literally project quite rapidly out of my body and spin around. I didn't look at my body. I just went straight through the wall. And on the other side of the wall, it's like I went through another dimension. And right in front of me was Vimera. And I smiled because I was so happy. And Vimera took me by the hand and we went, honestly, rapidly through dimensions to the universe. We sat on a bench and Unica wasn't around. It was just Vimera. And Vimera looked me in the face and she said, I want to ask you a simple question. Give me a simple answer or give me something that's intriguing. I said, okay. And she said, what do you believe, Kuntarkis, is the reality that you live within? And I thought about it for only a moment. And my answer was seventh dimension. That's what I said, which really intrigued me. She smiled. Oh, well, I shouldn't say she because it's androgynous. where it's male, female, that type of thing. And this being, Vimera, smiled at me quite pleasantly. And she said, good. She said, now you're about to depart. I said, where am I going? She said, you're going to America. I said, right. And you're going to meet someone that you want to meet. I said, okay. I won't say any more, but here you go. Suddenly, I was going through dimensions, not having dimensions like the original experience I had, seeing the dimensions on my left, like these massive sheets just flying past me, which was energy. I literally went through them. And every universe that I went through, I heard the sound something similar like this, but more deeper and more interesting the way it happened. And it felt like I traveled for a long time, and where I ended up was a bus stop, literally a bus stop in America. And what I saw in front of me was this strange looking bus. It was normal, but it just looked different. And it was actually light brown with yellow mixed together. And it was quite large. And there were a lot of people getting on it. And I got on, and the driver, he looked at me and he said, good morning, Kuntarkis. So he knew me, which was strange. So I remember all the strange occurrences. I sat down just on his left in the front, and I sort of turned around. I could see all these different people dressed in all different clothes. No school kids, just people. And the bus took off. And it felt like we were driving probably for an hour, hour and a half. He was dropping off all these people at all these different locations. And then I was the only one left. And he drove up this hill, and it's like we were out of the town. Wherever the city was or the town, I'm not sure, up on a hill. And he said, you're stopped, Kuntarkis. And I looked at him and I smiled and he smiled back, and I got out and the bus drove off. And I looked around and I could see on my left how the hill went down very sharply. On my right, the hill was sort of slightly going down. And I looked around, there was hardly any houses on my right, but on my left there was nothing, just bush, low bush. And I could see up in the distance on the hill, there was a very, very large home, very white. And suddenly out of nowhere, I turned again, and there was this man that was coming towards me. And he was dressed in a white suit with white shoes, and he had a black cane. And I looked at him and I said, oh my God, that's Elon Musk. And he was identical. And I said, excuse me. And he looked at me and he turned and he started running really fast. And he ran all the way down, then over the road and straight up this pathway that led to where this mansion was. And I was running after him, I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to you. And I followed him. And as we got up, he ran through this big opening of the home. It's like there was a center section with these massive opening doors. And inside there were quite a few people, but also security guards. And they literally stood in front of me and stopped me with their hands. They said, stop right here. Do not go any further. And I stopped. He said, wait here. So I did. And I just sort of looked around for a little bit. And I said, oh, I wonder where he's gone. And it felt like 5-10 minutes. And he suddenly came back and he went around the actual security guards to this one person. And he was holding what looked like 3 or 4 pieces of A4 paper. And I could hear him sort of mumbling, saying, so this person is Roman Harambura. And the guy said, yeah, we've done an absolute background check on him, everything. He's all clean. He's not a terrorist. He's not this. He's not that. He's the guy that has been sending messages. He goes, right, okay. And then he turned and looked at me and came over. He says, follow me. And we went out. And outside the house, on the other side behind the back of the house, was this massive table. It was probably at least 50, 60 foot long. And it was like a barbecue table, timber. and it had all these chairs sitting down. And at the end, and he went right down to the right, and he said, just sit there. I'll be back. So I did. And I could see all the people sort of looking at me. Some were smiling. Some looked like they were very curious.
What were you wearing, Kuntarkis?
Oh, well, that's the interesting part. Vimera, she put me in my full-length jumpsuit, right? Nothing on it, no writing or anything like that. Just a black jumpsuit with white stripes. So she must have realized by looking into my cellular structure that that's what I've been thinking about. So that's what I changed into when I was going through the dimensions. And I only noticed it when I was standing there waiting for the bus. So anyway, as I was sitting there, he come walking back, and he had this bottle, and he poured me a glass. And I looked at it. It was clear white. He said, you'll like this. He said, you drink this a lot. Or you used to, but you're drinking it now. And I had a drink of it, and it was kombucha. He said, it's my favorite drink. I said, oh, really? He said, yes. So he sat down. And he sat down, he turned facing me with his chair, because the chairs could turn by themselves. And he said, so, your name is Roman Harumbura, but you're actually Kuntarkis. Is that true? I said, yes. He said, okay. He said, why have you been wanting to see me? And why have you put up on your podcast about me? I said, because I've discovered some truths about you. And he said, what is that? He says, to who you truly are, your true identity. And he looked at me, sort of moving his head slightly. And then he turned his head to the left, looking at the other people, because they were looking at him. And he come back to me and he said, then who do you think I am? And I said, you want me to tell you? He said, yes, I do. And he said, I said to him, I said, you're actually Nikola Tesla. And he looked at me for a few moments, and he had a very small grin. And he says, why would you think I'm Nikola Tesla? I said, well, it's not because you called your electric company for your cars Tesla. He said, well, then what is it? I said, well, my first book called The Dream Assassin, Volume 1. He said, yes. He said, I've read parts of it. I was given that book. My security guard, who's my personal security guard, he gave that to me after we discovered things about you. I said, right. I said, well, in that book, I created Nikola Tesla through my imagination and had experience with him inside the spirit world. So that's what you're into. That's why your podcast is so interesting. I said, well, from that perspective, yes, it's knowledge. He said, so you created him into your book. I said, that's true. Okay. And he said, but again, why do you think I am Tesla? I said, it's very obvious from the wheel of life. I saw your previous incarnation, and I saw how you died and who actually murdered you. So you believe I was murdered? I said, absolutely. You were poisoned by arsenic, very slowly by your first doctor, which was supposed to be a medication. He said, right. And he said, but I said your second doctor, because your first doctor disappeared. And it was the FBI that put this new doctor in, and he increased your dose because what he wanted was all your secrets to do with your metal floating objects and all that type of stuff. He said, gravity, yes, yeah, going beyond gravity. And I said, that's right. And he said, well, I've done it in this life. I said, I know. I've seen you've created a spaceship that can hover. I said, I see you now created a massive sonic jet that will take passengers around the world in less than half the time. He said, that's right, I have. He said, you see that, did you? I said, yes, I did. He said, okay. And he then said, but why do you believe I'm still Tesla? I said, because energies don't lie. And as I looked at him, he changed right in front of me. He became Nikola Tesla right in front of me, even with the clothes, everything. And I looked at him. I said, there you are. You're now Tesla, Nikola Tesla. He said, I am, aren't I? And then he changed back and he looked at me for a moment and I saw tears coming out of his eyes. And he said, you are the most interesting man I've ever come across. The conversations I could have with you would intrigue me. And I also know the conversations that I express to you would intrigue you about all this new technology that I'm creating. He said, I see you're into imagination. I said, absolutely. He said, is that how you created all your books? I said, the fiction books, yes, with a very strong touch of reality. He goes, ah. He said, how much do you want? I said, I beg your pardon? He said, well, you wanted to see me, you wanted to talk with me. Everyone's asking me for money. And I said, I didn't come here for money. I was guided to you by one called Vimera. And that being is seventh dimensional. And I've now had connections with these beings that have their own universe that doesn't have a planet. And their beings walk on pathways or glide. They're seventh dimensional. And their real world, which is physical, still is a reality. And they are still evolving beyond that third, fourth, going through those vibrations to the seventh dimension. His eyes literally lit up. He put his hand on the table and leant over a little bit and he said, well, I've never really had experiences with seven-dimensional beings. But he said, you and I must have a conversation because somehow I would like to meet those seven-dimensional beings and see their universe. I said, I will put it to Vimera and my other friend called Yinika. He said, I would appreciate that very much. So you're not here for money? I said, no. He said, all right. He said, you'll have to excuse me. He said, I have to go. But the first thing he said, I like your book. And he said, is there, going by volume, you said volume 1, is there a volume 2 or 3 or 4? I said, there is a volume 2. And I said, it's completed. He said, very interesting. He said, how are you getting that published? I said, I want to have it published through traditional publishers because I can't afford to put it through self-publishing. It's just far too expensive and there is no real return. He said, that is true. He said, yes, self-publishers are all frauds nearly, the whole lot of them. And I said, yes, I agree with you. He said, nice meeting with you. He said, Kuntarkis. And he said, we will talk again. And he got up and walked away. And then this lady came and sat down. And apparently she's his personal secretary. And she said, so you're going to help Mr. Musk? I said, no, I think Mr. Musk may help me because this has been one of the greatest privileges that I've experienced beyond being in the seventh dimension. And she said, will all people on earth be safe? I said, eventually, yes, but not for a while the criminals exist. And what criminals are they? I said, I call them the CPCs. And she said, what does that stand for? I said, cannibalistic pedophile criminals. I don't call them the elite criminals and their families. And I even mentioned them all, the whole lot. And she said, wow, she said, really? She said, I have to look into that. She said, I do a lot of research for Mr. Musk. I said, you call him Mr. Musk? And she said, yes, we're not allowed to call him Elon. It shows respect. And a lot of the times he'll even call us by our last names. I said, oh. And then she got up and walked away. And she looked back at me and I said, I have to go. And I just literally vanished in front of her. And I ended back in my bed and I woke up and I go, wow, I like that. I really like that.
I like that too.
Yeah. It was a very interesting experience, mate. I saw it as a beginning for my own advancement in consciousness because of the knowing of the seventh dimension and how they've literally helped me grow consciously by revealing to me the last 41 million years of human evolution, which is devastating when it comes to growth on a personal level, because it has caused such pain for the beings and caused such misery for the beings through each lifetime because of the amount of violent wars. And it literally carried on through the last million years of our human evolution. And that is to keep us down. That's its whole purpose. It's to keep us down so we don't evolve on the wheel of life, so we don't step up in higher vibrations to a different understanding. Now, my question to you, Michael, what reality would you class yourself when I mention this? First dimension, second dimension, third dimension, fourth dimension?
I mean, I would like to class myself as fourth dimension.
Okay. So would you say that your thinking is in the fourth dimension?
I'd like to think it's moving closer to that. Yeah.
Okay. So that means that you're actually connecting more to your mind. Okay. So that's good. That's positive. Very positive. Yeah. So dimensions are an interesting thing when we call it reality, because that's the whole purpose of evolution, by saying, what reality do I actually exist in? So you've got to look at the wheel of life, how you've been evolving, and then you've got to say to yourself, well, I'm not first dimensional because I think like that. I'm not second dimensional because I think like that. I'm not third dimensional because the level of my understanding in my thinking goes beyond imagination into my mind. So I'm evolving as a being. And that's really important. And that's how we need to look at humanity, how they are evolving. And that's why we need to express higher knowledge so they still comprehend it, so they are willing to say, hang on, this is the way I live. I mean, I've said this many times anyway, but this is the way I live. I go to bed at night. I have either some dream experiences, which can be quite negative because of the way I exist physically through the day. I go to work. I have negative experiences. Things seem to go wrong. And then I dream about it. And that's my reality. Or I'm married and I have arguments with my wife, or no arguments, or there's just that separation of thought where we don't communicate. And I argue with my kids before they go to bed, so they have bad experiences and I have bad experiences. So why am I keeping myself at this level of understanding? It's all to do with keeping us down through negative thoughts and negative energies, and however that may be implemented into our being. Now, here's an interesting point, Michael. COVID-19 is naturally a bioweapon. It is not a vaccine to help us. COVID-19 as a sickness is an illusion which has created the delusion of its existence. What we have inside of us is a bioweapon for all those people that have been injected. That alone can keep us thinking in a certain level of consciousness and not go beyond it, because it causes complete confusion, even brain fog. And all the other things they do, by the additives they put in our foods, by the chemtrails, by everything else, by hardship with more interest rising in banks, so your mortgages go up, your wages don't go up, but everything else does. Food's gone up at least 30%. Rent's gone up 35% around the world. So you can see why we are staying in the wheel of life at a particular level of understanding and not going beyond it.
And we break through by inspiring our heart, inspiring our creativity, our passion for whatever it might be, and then that energizing our health.
100%.
Yeah, it's not easy, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy, but the greatest weapon that we each possess is our heart. Because if we connect consciously to our heart, we then also connect consciously to our mind, which gives us the conscious link to our soul. And we're willing to accept more knowledge, more higher levels of understanding. And that's how any being that is consciously growing or consciously grows. Right? It's awareness, self-awareness.
Awareness. So it still perplexes me sometimes on a logical level, but to be coming from here, the heart, to be like, yes, I am my heart, I'm coming from my heart as I do what I do, as I think what I think, as I act as I act. Is that how you're... Yeah. Because to logical people, they're like, how do you come from your heart exactly? That still doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if you say to yourself, I am a heart person and I feel with my heart because I know what love is, and love comes directly from the heart, not from logical thinking, because logical thinking is simply a condition because you've experienced certain things which are conditions. But when you feel with your heart, being spontaneous, you are literally growing consciously in your own self-awareness. You got to go from logic to heart and feel. Literally feel it. Tell yourself every day, put your hands over your heart and say, I am a heart person. I feel with my heart. I love with my heart. I am my heart and I am my mind, and I have a connection directly to my soul. When you talk like that, Michael, you must become it.
I was going to say, if when it comes to connecting with your heart, if you are what saying the affirmations and you are meaning them, your intention is pure and real, then that's your heart already, isn't it? That's
Absolutely.
the start of it, because
it's because you are saying it from your heart. Most people, in every conversation that I've had with people over the years, always seem to come from their logic understanding, because they don't understand the heart. They think they do, even when they say, I'm a heart person. No, they're not, because they're talking from logic. You cannot talk from logic and believe you are connected to your heart, because logic and the heart are completely separate, like the brain and the mind. Two separate entities. One's physical, one's energy.
I guess if you know that you are coming from logic, then at least you know what you're not. You're not the heart. At least you know which direction to go. If you, because you know that I can overthink so much. And so at least if I know that I am there, okay, switch it to the other side somehow.
Yeah. Try and exercise, Michael, every day for the next month. Every day, 10 times a day, when you can think of it, just say, I come from the heart. I am the heart. I come from the heart. I am the heart. And you say that to yourself, whether it's in your mind or your brain, or you say it verbally.
I'll remember to have that strong intention and to say it like I really mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been
and
doing.
If you say to your, when you see your mum and your dad, you give them a cuddle, just say to them, I love you, mother, from the heart. I love you, father, from the heart. That'll really make them well up, mate, when you say it with heart.
Yeah, I've been saying some affirmations recently. I'm thinking, oh, that's right, affirmations, of course, of course. And then I realized, halfway through, oh yeah, really, say them like the words, like your voice has this amazing ability to come across with passion. That's where it's at. It's energy. That's where it's being created.
Yeah.
Just looking at your big book over there. There's still one favorite affirmation of mine, and even though your affirmation is. So if you don't mind me reading just Please that do. Particular line. I mean, do you want me to read all of it? It's very spectacular.
Yeah, read it. Yeah, read it all, mate.
Okay, this is from page 1026 of the Book of Knowledge, I Am Alien by Roman Harenbuehler. Yours truly here in the conversation, and this is by Kuntarkis. This is Soul Food Affirmation. I choose now, number 31. I choose now, in this moment of life, to step into the light of creation. I am a part of creation's totality, as I am a part of all life forms throughout all universes. All life forms throughout all universes are a part of my being of light. We are all brothers and sisters on a journey of self-discovery to the realization that we are all infinite beings of living consciousness. My being expanding in consciousness is an awakening for all other universal life forms. I am, and I choose to be a beacon of light for all to see, to grow from, and to expand beyond the physical flesh of matter into pure consciousness with the full awareness of my being in the moment of life. Kuntarkis.
Thank you. That was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
right? And it's totally
Absolutely.
it's totally expansive and non-religious. There's not putting anyone above anyone, and
No. That's the fault in religion, my friend. No disrespect to anyone that believes in a religion, but that is the fault. When you have to feel that you are a part of that religion and all you express is their belief system, then that is not really your truth. You're only allowing yourself to believe. But when you literally open up your heart to being spontaneous, everything is in the moment. And that is the real reality of ultimate truth. So if you express that affirmation, knowing that it simply is words, and you express it with your heart to yourself or to whoever, then you are speaking your truth.
yeah, wow. I've been sleeping a lot, like napping a lot lately, and I know it's because of the medication, but I had to tell you at some point because it's like a real reversal, kind of, to be like, oh, I need a reason to get out of bed again. Ah. It's been tough. I know it was since the recent injection that it turned around, and I've just been napping heaps, like naps that go for easily over an hour and more than once a day. Yeah.
Wow.
There are times where I fall into a bit of that. I don't think I'm going to follow through and be any kind of success or even be worthy of working with this amazing Kuntarkis. And then later on in the day,
Oh, mate.
later on, things will happen in the day, and I'll be like, oh, actually, there has been a turnaround. I have found more at my heart and my creativity, and I do believe in myself. And it's just weird that it can flip like that. And I just don't ever want it to keep going in that direction of like I'm not much or going to be enough, because I think I can be other times. I know I can be other times.
Okay. I like what you just said. That's really good about yourself. And that's important because I guarantee there are hundreds of millions of people around the world that would agree with you. That's how they feel because of their reality, because of their existence in whatever they are doing. One of the ways of overcoming it is because you're on a medication, that medication puts you into a drone position where you can't seem to override what that is doing to you in that medication. It's making you feel less motivated, less everything about yourself. So the only way to overcome that is for you to take charge when you feel that way. You got to force yourself to come from the heart and rise above the logical conditioning and really work through your mind. See, your mind is living energy and it has no barriers when it comes to anything that is negative. It simply is unbiased. It simply gives you information. What you do with it is what the logical human brain does. It dissects. It's like getting a piece of bread and cutting a little section out and say, I don't want that piece. Cutting another section out, I don't want that piece. Cutting another section out, I don't want that piece. And all it's left with is confusion. And that's what it's creating with you. The logic is creating your confusion because it comes from conditioning. And it's dissecting whatever is sent by the human brain, by the human mind that comes directly from your soul. That's where your power is, in your mind.
Thank you. And on some level, I can say, well, this is a part of my life's test, isn't it? This is where I'm at. So this is where come to overcome where I'm at, and this will make me a stronger person because of it.
Absolutely.
Mm.
If I didn't, no, you take myself for example. I'll just use me as a very quick example. I've noticed since I've been taking activated charcoal on a regular basis and drinking a glass of water with a large tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil,
Yeah.
which is a cleanser. It cleanses the body. It's quite amazing.
How much
I've
glass?
just
How much extra virgin olive oil? Sorry,
just one large tablespoon.
tablespoon
Just
with a
fill it,
glass
yeah,
of water.
with a glass of water. I know it's not going to stir very well, right? But you stir it and stir it and stir it. Take a large mouthful.
Yeah.
Stir it and stir it and stir it until you finish it,
Yeah.
and then wash your glass out with a bit of soap or something. That really does help you a lot. But what I have noticed, Michael, is when I train, I can go along and do 5Ks, 6Ks on the treadmill. Takes me just under an hour. Then I go and bounce 15 minutes with weights on the bouncer. Then I do 15 minutes of isometrics, bouncing. Then I do another half an hour of twisting and turning to very fast music. That's my arms down by the side, going up by the side, left up, right up, left up, right up. Same with the front. So I'm literally training every part of my body. And after I finish that, I do basically 20 minutes, 2 sessions on the vibrating platform with a few different forms of exercises, which is isometric. I've discovered that I just don't get tired like I used to. And doing my breathing exercises, it literally has expanded my ability to take in air. I take larger amounts of air, and that's very important because it oxygenates your entire blood system, which gives you more energy. It will make you overcome your lethargicness.
To be active, to be exercising a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to push yourself, Michael. And I have in the past, I'm not saying that long ago, probably, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, I've pushed myself, no matter what, to get up and do that exercise. By doing that, you are creating a positive motivation within yourself.
I can be really stubborn, can't I, for things that are,
Yes,
but yeah.
you're a Leo.
Yeah, yeah. And I say to myself sometimes, this is ridiculous because if I was playing like I used to play table tennis, I could play hours and hours straight and it would be
Yes.
exercise, but because there's some extra focus, there's some challenge and social, it would be so easy to keep going. Whereas getting on the the tramp and the treadmill and the other things I've got, it's I think it's because of that partly. There's not necessarily a social grab or a challenge grab or something. And it's funny that it can be that simple a reason to.
And you enjoy it.
Can I enjoy it?
Yes. That's the most important factor in whatever you do in life is mark it as your passion of enjoyment.
Are you saying that about going on the exercise equipment?
Absolutely. Anything in your life, doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah.
even a 10-minute walk down the road
Yeah.
and back. Make it your passion of enjoyment. Learn to use your imagination while you're doing the exercise.
Yeah.
Force it.
Yep.
You're going to find blockages, mate, because your logical thinking doesn't understand the power of imagination. Imagination can be created through your mind into physical reality. The only reason people don't believe that is because they're highly conditioned through their logical thinking. And they give up. Like meditation. I have had hundreds of people tell me, I can't meditate. I just give up after 1 or 2 times. No, I can't do it. It's silly. I said, it's only silly because you've named it as silly. But the real silliness is you because you're giving in to your ego.
So simple for you to say it like that. Like I know it's the truth, but it's so simple for you to express. And so for us going through it, it's like, oh, I can't do it. By the way, for me, I think 2 things. The way I think I find myself back, like on the treadmill or the trampoline or something. The way I find myself back to my creativity, I think, is actually by talking to myself in the place that I live in. Because as I talk to myself, I can find that the vocals that lead to being more positive and such. The other thing was, I have been doing Holosync daily for maybe a month now. And I
That's
just want
good.
and I've on to the second one from the very start. It's in the second immersion. And I was just going to ask
Dive
you,
and immersion.
yeah, so there's dive.
Dive
I'm on to the
and
second
immersion.
immersion, which is number 3.
Yep.
So the
Okay.
second immersion. I just want to ask you, I've been doing it when I wake up in the morning, and it's just been going for an hour as I go about my day in the morning.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that okay? What's maybe something better, or
Yeah,
is it all right?
perfect. Or say 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
right? Good idea to do it, say, at least an hour or two before you go to sleep.
Ah, yeah.
At least an hour or two before you go to sleep.
Well, that would be
So
like
you're free
7 to
from
8.
that listening or that conditioning, right? Because when you're laying there listening to that whole thing for, say, half an hour or an hour, right, you are in a different mode of consciousness. You've literally gone higher in your own consciousness. When you stop listening to it and you go out and suddenly do your crazy things, or you're trying to go to sleep, it might take you longer to go to sleep because you're at a different level of understanding. That's what it does to you. It's subconscious, subliminal.
So if I go about my day and still do it at, say, 4 o'clock till 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
because a lot
And
of
then
people are
have dinner.
doing that now. They're like cleaning their house while they listen to Holosync. It's a whole thing.
Yes. Well, there are it's like Potential Unlimited. That guy, I can't remember his name, but he sells all these different tapes and no longer tapes, but now there's CDs. And he's got like 250. I think his daughter's taken over the whole business now because he's got too old. Well, he was a counselor and a psychologist or something like that. That really works. But the problem is, if you listen to it before you go to bed, then it's going to keep you awake. But if you listen to it through the day, like he suggests that, especially the music, not the actual audio where you're listening to him guiding you. It's the music, and it's got the subliminal thoughts within it that your inner consciousness takes up when you're working, vacuuming, dusting, cooking dinner, whatever, right? And that actually helps you a lot because you're listening to it on different levels of consciousness.
Yeah, right. I have to find that one. So if I'm listening from, say, 4 till 5 p.m. and then going to bed at, say, 10,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's perfect.
And it's okay that as I listen from 4 to 5, I might be just sorting things out in my house, just doing other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Everything helps, Michael.
Even being on
It
the
all helps.
treadmill.
Yeah, being on the treadmill's good. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You can even put headphones on and listen to it while you're
Yeah.
treadmilling
Yeah.
and motivate yourself. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling great. My legs are feeling stronger.
Yeah.
I'm getting better and better and better. Even my distance is spreading out more and more. I'm becoming more flexible, more powerful. I'm aware of my legs.
Mm.
I mean, I move around, and even my wife says to me, Jesus Christ, she said, I know you're not 73, you're just physically 73, but you come up and you balance yourself on one leg so perfectly. The way you move around and spin around. You know, a 73-year-old couldn't do that. It's because I don't believe in age.
Mm.
And I was only talking to an Asian man only about a week and a bit ago. He rang me and he has a real problem concentrating on meditation, concentrating on his training or anything like that. And I said to him, you're too logical. You're trying to do everything from a logical perspective. And that's no good. I explained about the brain and the mind, and he was fascinated by that. He said he heard that before from a scientist, some scientist. I said, well, Albert Einstein used to say that, so did Nikola Tesla. He goes, oh, right. That the mind is not the brain and the brain is not the mind. One solid, one invisible. That's how, what's his name? Albert Einstein would have said it.
What was that? One solid, one physical? What?
One solid, one invisible.
Invisible, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
invisible.
Yeah, like fourth
And that's how he
dimensional
would have
versus
spoken.
third dimensional.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where Nikola Tesla would have said the mind is energy and the brain is solid physical matter.
Yeah.
Because he was different in his thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I have an episode that I've been editing of ours. I'm always to the end of it. That's
What's
not
it
it
called?
there.
Yeah.
Well, I called it Pirate Pants.
What'd you call it?
I think I called it Pirate Pants or something. It's the
Oh, okay.
episode where I can't. It's another casual Kuntarkis, that's for sure. We seem to go off topic, and I mean not off topic, but change topic quite a lot. But it was the one where your father pulled you out of your bed, and you found yourself on this ship, this pirate ship. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got that episode. That should be
Oh,
ready at some point to have us
I forgot
to actually
about
put
that.
up. Yeah, it was good.
Ah, interesting. I like the last few you put up, mate. That was
Yeah,
good. The Kuntarkis one, 11,
yeah,
and also the Knowing Fluoride. Yeah,
yeah.
that was good.
Don't tell my parents that it's up online for everybody. Oh, they're
I
like,
wouldn't.
they are like, mum's like, oh, I mean, you have to drink Adelaide tap water with the fluoride in it. I don't know what's going on with you, Michael. Buying bottles of water and all.
Hey, 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 hey. Did I send you the last two about Anna Marie, how she discovered the first one, but also the second one with where was it? I think it's Florida by the official investigators somewhere in Florida. They researched what Anna Marie was saying for their own evidence,
Oh yeah,
and they come up exactly with the same, even more.
yeah,
And they're basically saying all the anesthesias have got all this in it, the nanotechnology, the graphene oxide, so many different other things around the world.
wow.
And it says it worldwide. That's what you need to print off and actually give to your mother to read. It shows all the photos
Hmm.
of the moving particles and all that.
Hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of my double life is that I was arguing to myself about them today because I was seeing them on the 21st for Christmas, and it's like I don't give them grief about their health, but sometimes they give grief about my health. They give me grief about my health choices. I prefer to not fight and just let them.
Well, they
Yeah.
created you, so it's wrong of them to say that to you,
To give me
isn't it?
grief about my health choices.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, because they created you, and they created you with bipolar, not bipolar. What is it? Is
Yeah,
it
it is. You're
bipolar?
right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Okay, they created that,
And they
but
knew, didn't they, that they
but
could be
but you
creating.
can't blame them because that's what life is. It's one of these things that we choose, and you chose to come through them to learn the lesson, but you also chose to maybe teach them to let go of their belief systems and open their mind to maybe some things that are actually happening in our world or are real. And one of the biggest realities is that the anesthesias are full of poison worldwide. There's nothing they can do to disprove it.
The poison they would already take again and again if they need another vaccine. If they were convinced of a vaccine, they'd take it again, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And there's that guy Steve Kurish, I think he is. He's now asking the question: Does the COVID-19? He said, I asked this a while ago, but does the COVID-19 actually cause autism? 100%. 100%. And if you have a bad gene in your family line, it brings it out worse in the next generation. That's why we as a species, amongst many, many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of civilizations, we're one of the worst when it comes to human disease. Because we've allowed ourselves to believe the BS that we're told by pharmaceutical companies who are all evil, who are all murderers, mass murderers, and don't give a damn. We need to look at ourselves and try to repair ourselves because our human body, Michael, is one of the greatest miracle repairers and healers that we have.
speaking of healing. Did you say you're doing activated charcoal a lot more now? Tell us how
Yes,
much you're doing it.
I actually do a heaped teaspoon, not too heaped, but heaped, probably every 3 days.
Every 3 days.
Yeah,
With water, and
and
you drink it before bed.
yep, and have it in a full glass of water. Stir it around. Make sure you put the powder in after you put the water in. Put the water in your glass first, then put the activated charcoal. Stir it around really quickly, and then start drinking it. Take a big mouthful, stir it in your mouth, stir it again so it doesn't settle, so it all
Mm.
dissolves, and keep going. And on your last little mouthful, keep it in your mouth, say for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, if possible, which is easy, and swirl it around your teeth. It actually removes, what's that stuff that builds up on your teeth?
Plaque.
That's it. Removes bacteria and plaque. And if you actually clean, if you put a little bit of, say, 2 teaspoons into a say an Vegemite jar, put a bit of water in, very small amount, a few drops, stir it until it comes really creamy. Then get your toothbrush, a spare one, and just clean it off your spoon. Wash your spoon, because if you don't, it'll go black. Then put a little bit on your toothbrush and stay over the bowl, because you might dribble black. You don't want it on the floor, so it'll stain. It will wipe off if you do it straight away. And clean your teeth, right? After you finish doing that, rinse your mouth, then give it a clean with, say, not with a Colgate, with a toothpaste that you buy from Woolworths that doesn't have fluoride in it. Right? It's a green and white box. It costs
Green and
about
white?
$2.50.
Yeah, I'll have to look for that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always down the bottom of the shelf where the toothpastes are. Yeah. I think it's called HP. I could be wrong, but I can also send you a photo.
Thank you. Yep.
Yep.
One way or another, I'm going to eventually find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Thank you very much, Kuntarkis. Yeah, that's good.
You are extremely welcome, Mr. Michael Yon.
It's good to see your face again. Haven't seen it in
Well,
so
there you are.
long. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had it hidden behind the shadows.
Yeah, behind the shadows.
Yeah.
You know that's a concept, right? That you know your shadow. You must have had to have come to know your ego in this life, to know your shadow, so that you understand yourself more, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, one thing I have to express, I didn't complete it in the talk we were having. When I was traveling through the dimensions, it was a new experience for me, because I was actually going directly through them at light speed. And because coming back from the seventh dimension, which was a long way away. But the interesting factor is, when I landed and I was standing there, I put my right hand up and smacked my shoulder like that, and it made the same sound. And I said I was solid. Whether I had internal organs, I have no idea. I probably didn't, but I was solid. So everyone could see me as a solid being. And I walked normally, and I ran normally, but quite fast actually. So if we believe that seventh dimensional beings exist, they also can become solid, because everything in the universes, in all universes, is living energy. Everything is created from living energy, which is also the light. So if we can, how would you say, evolve ourselves into a seventh dimensional thinking and become that being, we can also create a physical body and walk amongst physical beings. Nothing is impossible if we believe. Might take some time, which is right, but nothing is impossible.
Wow. Yeah, I love it. Wow. May I ask? You said there was a lot. I think you've led hint to the fact that you've got a lot of value out of looking in your face in a mirror. Is that true? You've got a lot of value out of that?
Yes, I have. I've seen my past lives, and recently I did that, and I saw myself as I was a little over 13,000 years ago, as the silent assassin. And people say, oh God, he was an assassin. Well, a lot of people have been assassins, even on this planet, so we all are, how would you say, evolving at different stages of our existence. We've been murderers, everything, the whole lot. Good people, bad people, we've been greedy, non-greedy, joyful, hateful, everything. So we're learning from those lessons. And that's the most important factor, not to stay the same in one area of negativity, is to evolve beyond it. When I saw myself, I saw a lot more. So I'm actually writing at the moment about the silent assassin. And that's Kalusha. She came into this vibration and became a silent assassin and learned from her father and grandfather the whole thing about Kung Fu, about the magical side of that form of existence where you can move at such speed. In other words, you learn about how to move between the first, second, third, and fourth dimension. That's what she learned, because that's how the culture was back then. Very secretly, it was a very secret thing, but it was handed down through the family lines only. And that art has now gone. There's no one really doing it because they don't know how to put the passion into it to create it. So I saw many traces of my existence back then, so I can actually write. And I'll keep doing that until I write the whole story.
I like what you said there, the passion back into it to create it. That's really well said, isn't it? Because a person could bring back the knowledge of past lives if only they had the passion to really awaken it.
Absolutely. Yeah. What you've got to see is what I saw back in 1988 when I literally sat inside my soul and saw all these little sparkles. That's your cellular cells, seeing it at a different level of consciousness. Inside of you are your cellular cells. They're at your head, they're at your neck, your eyes, your mouth, your lips, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, all the way down to your toes, in your fingers. That's you, living energy, created and manifested into physical reality through the natural process of human birth. But you are living energy. When you learn to understand that reality, you can then touch your heart, your mind, and your soul. It's work, mate, but it's worth it. Every step of the way.
It's work, mate, but it's worth it. Oh man, yes. I agree. Okay, it's funny how we can have these conversations that I can keep up with you as you express these things, and then I go back to my day and I'm not necessarily editing and listening to this stuff, and I go back to basic. Sometimes it's just like
I can understand that. I can totally understand that. And that's the whole thing about evolution. We come into each other's vibration to learn those lessons, to activate our motivation.
Activate our motivation, right?
Activate our motivation.
Our motivation, yeah.
Or self-motivation.
Self-motivation.
Yeah, so we remember to be more positive.
Yeah,
right? If we didn't have those people in our lives, we would probably stay the same, and the next life the same, and the next life the same, only grow minuscule, just a small amount.
That's it. That's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you growing, JC?
Oh, he's getting tall. He's right up to my shoulder now.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm not. I'm up to your head.
No, he's saying he's up to my head now. Yep.
Oh.
He's growing.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Michael, can you see me there?
I can see you there just a little bit.
And now, can you see me now?
Nope, can't see you now.
No.
Now can you see me closer?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that has been about an hour. Thank you so much, JC, for helping bring this to a close. And I want to extend a special thanks to Kuntarkis, of course. For now, you can find us at etcconsciousness.com. And of course, if you'd like to interact or have any questions in any way, please feel free to email kuntarkis@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again. My name is Michael Yon, and stay tuned for more.